Welcome to Weekend Edition. I'm Mindy Aguon. Thanks so much for tuning in. We begin with some tragic news from the village of Manilao, where 2 men are dead. They were passengers in a red Mercury Mystique that ran off the roadway, which slammed into a guardrail early this morning near Father Duenas Memorial School. The 25-year-old and 19-year-old victims have not been identified yet. As for the 29-year-old driver, he was transported to the Guam Memorial Hospital. According to nursing supervisor Sally Magrabang, he is listed in stable condition. The Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol Division was activated to determine the cause of Saturday morning's crash. The incident marks the 7th and 8th traffic-related fatality this year to date. While federal workers can breathe a collective sigh of relief, at least that is for now, just minutes before midnight Friday in the nation's capital, the U.S. Senate passed a bill that would avert a federal shutdown. The short-term measure, however, only funds the government through the middle of next week. That's when a longer-term package is expected to be enacted. Guam Delegate Madeline Bordallo, meanwhile, has posted information on the effects a government shutdown could have on constituents on her website at www.house.gov/Bordallo. The Congresswoman says the agreement ensures that federal employees, including men and women in uniform, will return to work on Monday and continue to receive their benefits. She adds they will assess what impacts this agreement will have on federal programs on Guam when details are released by the congressional leadership. A class action lawsuit has been filed against the government of Guam to force the payment of the $269 million that's owed in tax refunds to the people of Guam. A complaint was filed in the District Court of Guam by attorney Ignacio Agagi on behalf of his clients Ria and Jeffrey Paesti and Sharon Zapanta. All three allege they have not received their refunds. As we reported, the governor in his weekly address Monday stated GovGuam has not made good on paying refunds for the last several decades and owes more than $260 million. In its biennial budget submission to the legislature on Friday, the governor proposed that in fiscal year 2013, the government pursue a $344 million bond proposal to pay all past due tax refunds by the end of that year, as well as to eliminate almost all of the deficit and erase the cash shortfall. You can find that complaint on our website. The Office of the Attorney General's Civil and Solicitors Division confirmed it is looking into allegations made against Able Industries that were outlined in a complaint that was submitted to the office. As we reported, Johan Sobredo alleged that there was significant mismanagement of funds by Able's current president Joaquin Leon Guerrero and board chair Elmore Cotton. Sobredo alleges the company failed to pay 401k contributions for employees, and management has been using the company's credit cards to make personal purchases without ever repaying the nonprofit organization. Able Industries is the island's largest employer of individuals with disabilities, currently employing more than 200 people. Sobredo alleges the mismanagement could result in a loss of jobs and millions in federal funding. The AG's office confirms it received the complaint and is now looking into the matter. Able's management, meanwhile, vehemently denied any claims of wrongdoing, claiming that they had been investigated and were unsubstantiated. A roundtable meeting is scheduled for Monday to talk about the laws governing the Guam product seal. Senator Judy Gutherts is bringing stakeholders together to discuss deficiencies, enforcement concerns, and the applicability of the law. Monday's roundtable meeting is scheduled for 10 in the morning in the Guam Legislature's public hearing room. Now, according to Senator Gutherts, there have been violations of the law by businesses importing products into the territory, but passing them off as if they were made right here on Guam.
To protect companies that are producing products made on Guam, and we need to hold those entities that are importing products made to look like they are made on Guam accountable. And this is not something that is good for the economy. It's certainly not good for people that are buying products thinking they're made on Guam and they're not made on Guam.
The roundtable meeting again is scheduled for 10 a.m. at the legislature's public hearing room. Well, former residents of Sumai were allowed to return to the pre-war village on Saturday. This as the U.S. Navy opened their gates to allow for the homecoming. This marked the second year village mayors and the Navy hosted Back to Sumai Day. Sumai was once a thriving port and seaside community until World War II, when the village was the first to be bombed by Japanese forces. Former residents were forced to flee and were never allowed to return. On Saturday, former Sumai residents gathered and shared their pre-war stories of Sumai with their families. Historical photographs of pre-war Sumai village were also on display. Well, 41 teams competed in the annual plane pull at the Continental Hangar. On Saturday, the theme this year was Towing the Line to Save Lives. The annual event raises money for the American Cancer Society. Proceeds came from entry fees totaling almost $21,000. It's one of the major fundraisers for the ACS leading up to the annual Relay for Life in May. Congratulations to GTA Guam that came in first in both the co-ed and men's division, and the Weston that received the Spirit Award for the third year in a row. And before we head into the break, just a warning to island residents to please stay out of the water. There is a high surf advisory in effect for Guam until 6 p.m. on Monday, so please stay out of the water. A high surf advisory in effect for Guam. That is until 6 p.m. on Monday.